This song come up from Madam Sidra to Aminata Kamara from the United States of America. It is dedicated this song to one of the biggest organizations in the world. We had.
Yeah, made a crack on the mix.
91 big boy Pekin.
H never tap a sit above.
Daily base
091.
Yellow flag TVs.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
We are the organization. Don't come for every nation. We are the organization. Don't come for promote the nation. They know they mix my politics. They know they part tribalism. They know they mix my politics. Yeah. They know they part no tribalism.
This now we had. Duck and now we land. So la we all and fine. This now we had. Duck and now we land. So la we all and fine. Who know they back kapu kapu? We had no mixed bag bamu bamua. We know they back kapu kapu. We had no mixed bag bamu bamua. Go tell the brother sister them say we had don't come over.
We are now we are.
Tell her for we, tell her for me say we had don't come over.
We are now we are. We are the organization. Don't come for every nation. We are the organization. Don't come for promote the nation. They know they mix our politics. They know they part tribalism. They know they mix our politics. Yeah. They know they part no tribalism.
Big respect to the one who will make we are team up strong one. Especially to you, by Bure Kablai from the north. And to you, Shenge Pierre from the south. Admi Amina, happy birthday in advance to you, by Bure Kablai from the north. You celebrate your birthday January. Happy birthday in advance to you, Shenge Pierre from the south. You celebrate your birthday December. This organization, the 3 years, December 2022. We dey tell who members them all over the world, thank you. Yeah.
We are the organization. Don't come for every nation. We are the organization. Don't come for promote the nation. They know they mix our politics. They know they part tribalism. They know they mix our politics. Yeah. They know they part no tribalism. Let me tell you, wait till we are gonna do for we. They no change life inside the world country. Number one, they the people. They build houses for the affected members for the flooding. Number two, they pay school fees. For the one the way them people them evil as a low disaster. The people them, we are don't come for help everybody in this country. They know they for politics, neither tribalism. We are the organization. We are the organization. Don't come for every nation. We are the organization. We are the organization. Don't come for promote the nation. They know they mix our politics. They know they mix our politics. They know they part tribalism. They know they mix our politics. Yeah. They know they part no tribalism. We are the organization. Yeah.
God will music.
We are Voice of the Poor. This song come up from Madam Sidra to Aminata Kamara from the United States of America. It is dedicated this song to one of the biggest organizations in the world. We had.
Yeah.
Made a crack on the mix.
91 big boy Pekin.
H never tap a sit above.
Daily base
091.
Yellow flag TVs.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
We are the organization. Don't come for
now we land, so la we all and fine. This now we hard, talk and now we land, so la we all and fine. Who know they back kapu, we had no mix bag, bamu. We know they back kapu, we had no mix bag, bamu. But tell the brother, sister, them say, we had don't come
We are now we are.
Tell her for me, say, we had don't come
We are now we are. We are the organization. Don't come for every nation. We are the organization. Don't come for promote the nation. They know they mix our politics. They know they party.
Fambolemo na kushe no na hado. We are don't come back today. For come talk about things where they happen. Now we on speed yes alone. Now we yo. Whoa. We left for do them bad things then. We they feel a most alone. Now we yo. Whoa. We are. And if we hurt you, we sorry. We no mean battle, we just want for make we had go before. If we hurt you, we sorry. We no mean battle, we just want for make we had go before. Fumble, Kushe, how you dey do? Hope say you dey do okay. Well, for the news them, we just they come every day. Nothing and they we not for the bother you at all. Because, like Dr. Dennis Wright say, every day you go to get different explanation. Well, it go reach 10 where people go tire with their explanation they are. Well, today we be Sidoya, the do we program where we call Blow Mind. Then we get this we family member, we self in your yes, can they all awards. He tell we say, how comes Justice Fisher they practice as a lawyer or the High Court judge, they take decision them, they give ruling and all other political party them to ransom without go through the approval of Parliament. This been shock me and say, what do you mean? I say no, not also it be. He say check am. I say okay, wait, I get me encyclopedia of Parliament. I go call and make a yeri waiting it is say. I can call this me own border and then he say Sembe Pierre. He say yes, na so it be. I say waiting. He say okay. I say me brother. As now you get the dictionary, now you get the master sabi for reporting when they come on at Parliament. I say you go join me at the program this night, and then he say yes, so not a problem. Fumble. This we brother don't join me. For now we can talk about the legality or the practice of Justice Adrian Fisher as the make him justice of the High Court and it not been go through Parliament and he don't take decision for over 1 year now. Now only these 2 days ago na Parliament and Parliament even now self not get the go ahead yet for practice as justice of the High Court. But the law now we country look Congo because we long go talk so today. He turn on the back, he talk this other thing. He talk this, he turn on the back, he talk this. Well, it all depends on how they interpret the law. And so the law will give it strength. Justice Adrian Fisher. Now name this way plenty people know. Well, we go carry up more inside this one. For let we see or hear what this mean. But before we go there, another little bit Congo we want for do. But let's just draw me own encyclopedia inside the program this net for let you can hear waiting in think about that one day. As he don't watch the laws them, he don't read them, he don't torment, he don't faithful for come out of farm because he not easy for interpret law inside this big country here. Because the law where we get from the 1991 constitution to the different small law they all look Kongosa and you know say person wey Kongosa na person we always get too much. Hey, go talk this year, he jump here in the back, he talk this. Or sometimes he put Anya, he jump here, he put foot here. Now so we Lord day. So if that be the case, let's just welcome Melvin Tejan Mansaray, when a resident reporter na the House of Parliament. Melvin, welcome to We Had One More Time.
Thank you, and Family Nakushe and Cabo.
Melvin, I really want to talk about Justice Adrian Fisher as he appeared in the Parliament. They are Congo Sali Libit, no? Who's he appeared yesterday?
Yes, of course, Justice Adrian Fisher, among 9 other judges, then they appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Appointment in the Public Service for confirmation, as the case may be. In your own case, High Court judge, but others for appeals court judges. So yes.
Okay, we will come to that one day. Let me just run down some side quick one. I see something again. We cut me here, back up, and say this thing, I think we are not for left again. And say we so need for come, let we rubber mouth inside am. Quick one. Hey God, the thing that way they happen inside the country, you know, is your salon. It look like say na film. All man they acting on and then it pass. But the way how them film they are so they can write and the script says we not can understand whether na improvise on a real script then they put together. Well, as we talk, so I see one other thing we drop na Twitter. Well, this got for do with the PR system and the Supreme and the court, where we see say, for example, the PR system. Yes, it jump go na court quick one for sake away them other fumble them. Then lawyer then say they want the court for able for tell them waiting certain things them mean inside this PR system. Well, let me go quick one and watch waiting the Chief Justice don't do with regards this particular issue we been going to court. Well, now according to the Twitter page of the Judiciary of Sierra Leone, where they post today this evening time, Chief Justice Honorable Desmond Babatunde Edwards, yeah. Today, don't put together, judge them. Wait for Sidon, pan the case we get for do with the proportional representation PR system case. Where they file, where now Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara and incompetent. Now they come together and put together this say, let them file this case now the court for make them able for see how best they can interpret them. Well, the Chief Justice so now in the Sidom as president of the Supreme Court, yeah, when in get for Sidom by this case, instead with 4 other judges them don't decide for put together in team and say we could begin look into this. But quick one, Melvin. The last time we been rub much little bit for this particular case. So today as we talk so right now, they don't set up the team, the judge them, wait for look into this matter. Tell we no. Waiting this mean, if finally we remember people, waiting this particular case will mean for the country and the electoral system.
Well, just for the first rumble and back, I think I will begin by saying kudos to the judiciary. Remember, say in one of my previous submissions, I said the timeliness when they were empaneled and here this case gets a lot of bearing and consequences on the upcoming general elections. And one of which for be with regards to the prayer whether the PR system they accommodate independence, and also whether the PR system will accommodate local councils as the executive through the General Minister of Justice. They don't take now Parliament certain instruments, we now statutory instruments, and let me not forget the opposition they argue that the procedure should be a constitutional instrument, and it will take a lot of time for distinguishing 2 types of instruments and what can be done or not done with them. So for the first time, the Supreme Court, well, the Chief Justice, as we don't commend them for doing a work, and we hope that they will do the work on time here, this case, and also come out with a ruling we will be very understanding. Let me understand it can either go 2 ways. Agreeing that what NEC did is constitutional and continuation, that will see a continuation of the electoral process, whether they go on with small issues being raised by civil society organizations like Legal Link. But also, if it's reversed, it means the date for the election is going to be postponed. All that will be contingent upon the arguments being put forward before the Supreme Court, and as we write literally for other judges. But again, you should ask yourself, who are these judges? And you should ask yourself, who is the Chief Justice, and how they all arrive at that position of the Supreme Court. Issues around the appointment of judges of the Supreme Court from America to elsewhere, they are always going to be political.
Right. The network, the grip and the lily. Yes, please.
Yes, I'm sorry for that interruption. I said the end question would be, if we are to talk about what is to be expected from the Supreme Court, then you never forget for us who are the appointed judges then and the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, who are those persons we are supposed and then therefore recommend for the appointment and promotion of judges. So it boils also to the case of Adrian Fisher, who we can talk about just now.
All right. So this question very key, very very important. Taking into consideration the person himself who get for Sidom as president, now appointee from the office of the president. And then you talk about all the other one, them where as well an appointee of the office of the president. For this one now, then you for take up the how you call them, for then go for stand up for say according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone, then not for be answerable to any other individual or institution, or we could get for see a different fold in this particular issue. We still wait and see as the question don't go. Well, we will go now inside the big topic where we can see there so forth, Judicial. Where now the issue of Justice Adrian Fisher. Now the question now, before we begin talk about them, I go one for the family listen. Let them be sure say yes, Justice Adrian Fisher appear before Parliament, the committee of appointment. So let me listen to this audio where we as well cut, because if it look long, we're not waiting for Sudan, long one for listener. We cut them and make sure say you just be sure say this na Justice Adrian Fisher appear before Parliament. Slow listen up with the cabin just now.
Photographs and take your seats. I have in front of us Adrian, Justice Adrian Jocelyn Fisher. Are you alright, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Okay. How you say so? Can you read below your photograph? Check. Can you read that sentence for me, sir?
The canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden. I, Adrian Jocelyn Fisher, Justice of the High Court.
Full stop. Justice Fisher. Your name is like the household name is Radio within the court system. Do you know anybody on the panel?
Well, yes, I know Honorable Chairman Ba, I know yourself, I know Honorable Hassan Sisse.
Good.
Honorable.
So you can recognize you?
Yes, I recognize you.
Personally or otherwise?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, Honorable Salamina, I recognize, Honorable Chairman Ba, yourself, Honorable Siddiq, and Honorable Hassan Sisse.
Do you canvass anybody?
No.
You've been around today for a while.
Yes, I mean, I discuss all the issues, just play friendly protocols, but other than that, no.
Okay.
No.
You like procedures? Do you like procedures?
Certainly, I do.
Okay, fine. Here you have the provision in the Constitution, Section 135.
Yes, I'm fully aware of it.
Can you give us some lectures on 135? What you know about Section 135 of the Constitution?
Right. Section 135 is the provision that is makes provision for the appointment of judges to the Superior Court of Judicial. Section 135, subsection 2, gives the President the right to nominate for approval by Parliament under Section 135.2. And Section 135.3 provides for the qualification criteria for persons who are desirous of being appointed as judges of the Superior Courts of Judicature other than the Chief Justice. And Section 135.4 is the interpretative section of Section 135.2, which essentially explains what you find in section 135.3. And in section 135.5 is the provision that what we normally call the catch-all provisions, which simply say that a person is not debarred from being eligible to continue to be a judge simply because he holds a position outside. So, for example, if somebody was the director of NACSA, they're still going to be entitled to apply to become a judge, notwithstanding they hold that position. They will still remain eligible to practice as a lawyer under 135.3.
So what's already bar school?
What about
The bar school? The law school?
law school? The provision under 135.3 tells you precisely how somebody is qualified. So for one, you can be a legal practitioner in Sierra Leone or in a country with a system of laws analogous to Sierra Leone and approved by the Judicial.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't go for that. That is a language analogous to Sierra Leone.
Yes.
So we have various questions. But didn't you did not go to the bar school? I did not go to the law school in Sierra Leone. We are practicing as a judge. So we are not asking for interpretation. So exactly that provision covers you.
Yes, it does.
Is that any other legislation also doing any exemption or following in line with section 135, 133, 1353?
Yeah, but 135.3 gives you that right to.
Do you have any legislation covering that provision in section 135, subsection 3?
Well, no, it's the constitutional provision, which is the grand norm, that takes precedence in terms of all other legislation. But it's a
No. Let me come. The Legal Practitioner Act. Why do I so take on that particular provision? Is it covering that provision, the Legal Practitioner Act?
well, it covers legal practitioners for those who are qualified in Sierra Leone. But insofar as the Legal Practitioners Act 2000, which I think is what you're referring to.
Is what I'm referring to,
Yes.
2000.
Yes, there are exemptions under section 15 for persons who did not attend the Sierra Leone Law School to be allowed to practice in Sierra Leone. There's an exemption for that, which is also covered in section 15.3 of the Legal Practitioners Amendment Act of 2004. So if you're working for the state, for example, in whatever capacity, you have an exemption. And insofar as section 15 is concerned, the original section 15, if you have been called to the bar in a Commonwealth country for 5 years, under that amendment, you're eligible to practice law in Sierra Leone. But what is clear is that the General Legal Council is responsible for the regulation of lawyers, whereas the Judicial and Legal Service Commission is responsible for the appointment of judges. So the two different.
So you have gone through all of the scrutiny before coming.
Yes, certainly. And it's the Judicial Legal Service Commission that first of all advises the president on nominations before nominations are made.
We know that very well. But let me call for the edification of this body. I don't need to create embarrassment. What is analogous?
Well, a country that has similar systems of law to Sierra Leone, and in fact,
Stop.
Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, I present to you again Justice Adrian Tejan. I will start. I know members want to ask questions.
I need to add.
No, I want you to be this almost second to last person before I wrap up, so you can ask so many questions. Honorable Hassan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me congratulate you first for your nomination, because you've not been approved. We've not given you the all clear as of now. But
Alright, don't forget to watch we are on YouTube and on Facebook, and you can listen to the appointment committee as they interview Justice Adrian Fisher, where they're not approved yet as High Court judge, but they're on the process right now.
Based on things, and you will agree with me that the justice system, the judiciary, have a task of trying to ensure that the population trusts what decisions you make. Sometimes decisions are made in the courts. Of course, not everybody will be satisfied with the decision that has been in court. But you do it, take into consideration what the law is saying and your conscience and God. Those are things you serve. Now, moving forward, I just want to advise that as you are now here for approval to be a judge, in the High Court, that whatever decisions are taken, you try to work assiduously to ensure that trust between the people and the judiciary is not undermined. The confidence that we must have in the judges that are serving in the High Court, the Court of Judicial or whatever, is restored, because that is a fundamental thing to ensure that this country remain peaceful and cohesive. I'll not ask much questions at this point in time, but I hope and pray that if approved, you will have that in mind in administering justice in any court that you find yourself.
May I respond? No. Okay.
I don't see a need for you to respond. So now the last question, huh? No other further questions. Okay, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Fisher, which year were you called to the bar?
In 2001.
How many years ago?
21 years ago.
How many years do you need before you serve in the High Court?
10 years.
You also responded to several questions coming from the chair, more specifically distinguishing the Judicial and Legal Service Commission from that of the Council of Higher Education. That is differentiating the bar from the bench.
That's correct, yes.
And you were precise in saying that what governs the reasons for which you are here are enshrined in 131, in section 135. That is why you are here under that particular section of our constitution.
That's correct, yes.
So basically, I think there was also a matter in the Supreme Court, which I am not too conversant with.
Yes, and that is the case of Soli v. GLC.
That is it. How is that also tied to what is before?
Well, GLC is a general.
We have no visa here.
Okay, sir.
We have paramount here.
So how is that tied to this particular provision of our constitution?
Well, essentially, the case of Soli v. GLC in the Supreme Court interpreted the provisions of section 132, section 135, 3 and 4 in the way that I've just done, in answer to the Honorable's question.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I think you have done well and you are able to tell us. I only imagine that you mastered section 135 tonight before coming here because you are explaining one after the other. We are satisfied we will receive questions from the public. These questions that we have put into context, we have asked you those questions and we have used the provision in the Constitution to throw light on them for the edification. All of us, when we get to the plenary, the committee's child responsibility to make their own contributions and how best they can bring out what we found out and presented to the plenary for your approval. Thank you very much for coming. We wish you the best and we meet at the plenary.
Thank you, committee members.
All right.
Well, that's now Justice Adrian Fisher, way been there before the committee on appointment in the Parliament. The answer to questions them, of course. Yeah, in opposition, leaders them be they ask question and the one will be the lead the chair. I'm not the leader of government business, stand to be corrected by me, encyclopedia where I get now. So, well, let me go back to we guess what we get inside the program. Justice Adrian Fisher appear before Parliament committee inside the interview and later go get for go inside the well of parliament inside go get for face with all the other one then for lay they approve or turn am down. So based on this interview so far where it don't happen today, we see opposition leaders them ask plenty question. As a journalist, we monitor the system and they watch and they listen to the different people the way they ask questions. Yeah, what you make up of this interview, where then interview Adrian Fisher today?
Interestingly, I still wrapping my head around the interview yesterday because there was a break today. We're expecting the plenary sitting tomorrow. Few things we come to my mind are that why is Adrian Fisher's president's bill speak for the High Court? Mind you, the Constitution is very clear in Section 135 rule of time for explaining if time permits. So understanding why the Judicial and Legal Service Commission is recommending Adrian Fisher for this job only now begs several other questions. But again, we first have to understand what Adrian Fisher stand for. That was kind of judge. A liberal judge, a conservative judge, how we will call him. And we will for arrive at answering that question based on the landmark cases we don't deal with and which don't come out of that. If you borrow the words of Honorable Simon Lamina, I say admire him because I mean pour oil on political water, especially when it comes to political gymnastics. Whether that is to say his rulings have been helping or not helping political parties, I think that's a question for another day. But also, who consulted and what? Because it's constitutionally said the Judicial and Legal Service Commission will be consulted in these cases by the president. So, were they actually consulted, and on what basis they recommend Judge Adrian Fisher to the president? So that can be another question from the Judicial and Legal Service perspective. But also, I say we need to dissect waiting and who that then in the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. I'm still wrapping my head around whether they are in public office, but it also talks about this Judicial and Legal Service Commission advising the president on one hand, and on the other hand, sometimes the president advising them as the case may be. So we need to know the composition and who are the people they need and who are the people they. So we will arrive at the advice of how we reach your signing. But we also not forgetting in this Judicial and Legal Service Commission, there was this infamous case of resignation of one of the members over the issue of the tribunal for the Auditor General. And that member, I think, Bashita Michael, they argued that there were some procedures flouted with regards to the relieving of the Auditor General. And it's this commission that is responsible to have empaneled and appointed and recommend judges for sit on that matter. So we need to thoroughly take a microscopic look at that Judicial and Legal Service Commission as more so the argument they raise up between differentiating the bar and the bench as you hear from the honorable leader of the main opposition, I think as the heart of this argument is that of section 135, where that section they basically section 135 of the Magnetic Constitution of Sierra Leone talk about appointments of churches, and subsection 3 they talk about upon what basis they can be qualified. And as it stands, the fact that Adrian Fisher nor go through the law school or nor study law in IASU, it will always be an issue where in fact there was a prayer before the Supreme Court. However, there is no more popularization on that ruling, whether it was in favor of Adrian Fisher or was in favor of the other party. But in this case, Adrian Fisher was not a defendant of the petitioner, but Sui Mara, Sengen Mara, versus the Judicial and General Legal Council, GLC. So popularization and understanding that ruling again, upon which Adrian Fisher faced half of illegal arguments, is quite key. So moving forward quickly, the role of Parliament. I think Parliament don't play some of them parts. With them part and they don't put questionnaires, then they don't hold public hearing at committee room number 1, then they don't ask questions and don't get responses from Adrian Fisher among the other judges. Apparently, what is now left, which is secret, is how members of the appointment committee then vote. Did they vote unanimously or did they vote with a variation. We cannot be able to tell from now until tomorrow and read the reports that well and see whether members of the APC are opposed to confirming Adrian Fisher or not, as been suspected by many for reasons that were not far-fetched from the kind of ruling they were on the give and the kind of handling of some of the matters with bearing to the APC. So tomorrow can be a judgment day for him. And again, like I say, which then go vote, how then go vote, and one thing. But again,
so we
how
don't
will
see
the House
plenty time and the way people expect say this particular person they not for vote for him or the opposition for stand against her or then for see how best they for reject an appointment. We can see at the end of the day they all come together and unanimously agree on the appointment of that particular person. Like for example, if I get that right, Justice Fisher or the position where he carry, for let he able for be in that position, they forget if enjoy 60% of the votes na parliament, right?
Well, if the House want for reject Adrian Fisher, they need a 2/3 majority for reject her. That is the simple law. So I mean, in some other cases, they need a simple majority for confirm her. And there's a rare case. This is a litmus test on whether MPs have been obstructionists or whether they have been a rubber stamp. And that is the bottom line argument. There are rare incidents of appointments committee voting not unanimously. Even when they do so in the rare cases of, I think it's the ACC commissioner and some other judge. Yes, one of the other judges, there was a dissenting view and those dissenting views can be taken to votes. But there's a danger there. Not only a simple majority votes or 2/3 as the case may dictate upon the discretion of the speaker, but how will those voices or those votes collected? Will it be done by collection of voices, all the A's say aye or nay, or will it be done by voting? And now the speaker don't create a new model of voting where everybody for raise the hand up or stand for be counted, which I think is against the Constitution because the Constitution is very clear that ballots should be secret. So it's quite interesting, but let's not jump the gun. The gun here is how will the members, particularly leaders of the political parties in the appointment committee vote, particularly in the case of Adrian Fisher, where the common notion that outcomes, if they act as judge, will not get parliamentary confirmation. It's quite complex. Unfortunately, that question was not asked openly, but we wait for during the debates whether other members of parliament tomorrow will therefore dissect all of those issues and what will be the response or what legal basis. So it's quite an interesting.
Because this is a question where a lot of people been they expect for come out from like Honorable Hassan when the chief whip for the opposition, the leader of the opposition, Chair Noba, but from the two last audio there where we listen to, the all two, none of them not go near to that particular issue there at all. You know, especially when it comes to the issue of the ruling them where Adrian Fisher done the handle, you know, on this thing. For say, because Honorable Cherikoko, na a lawyer, na a seasoned lawyer, where you know exactly what in the practice of a lawyer, what it mean for become a judge, you know, na the high court, what it mean for handle opposition case. And interestingly, none of them no question the legality of Adrian Fisher, but all of them case they are so way they don't they handle.
That's an interesting aspect for pick up. Why? It's a matter of wait and see. But again, it can be an ambush. I have watched the opposition leader and how the opposition on the operates at this committee. Sometimes they will not see a loophole and then will remain silent until they can the well and expose them to the public. Are they having any hidden bullets in their guns? We will wait for see. But again, nothing of the sort not count directly towards that, rather than whether he's qualified to be a judge. And according to Ram, it don't take 21 years, and the law they say if I don't take 10 years. But the argument there is at what point was he a pupil master to have signed up the rule or the rule of courts?
Master, what did that mean?
That now determine if you don't take under a senior lawyer, practicing lawyer, before you self become a full-fledged lawyer. And in this case, if he was not practicing Sierra Leone, he is banking out on an amendment saying that there are exemptions to in case.
And the exemptions the way you talk about now, if in a government appointee, is they under the government or he don't serve now the sub-region outside and get similar law with Sierra Leone.
Yes, talk about an law systems analogous to Sierra Leone, and one of which we don't bank on that of UK practicing the Commonwealth system, which is also practicing in Sierra Leone. But that is not
especially for the 1971 and constitutional amendment.
Exactly, and the issue there is not whether he is eligible to practice in Sierra Leone. The issue is at what point under the Legal Council's Act of 2004 can he adequately claim qualification of having signed to the rule of courts, and that is a subject where I'm sure the Supreme Court very lengthy ruling, but it's up online. I've just looked at some waiting a ruling on. So the popularization of that ruling can help us to understand the issue of his eligibility. But the fact remains clearly, why was he acting as a judge when, in essence, he never gets parliamentary confirmation for such? Is there a caveat under the Constitution wherein he can be appointed as a consultant judge or whatsoever? I don't hear that argument there, so I'm fully look forward for that kind of argument on what basis it been going strength for the then very, very consequential rulings then as a judge of the High Court, which is a court, one of the courts of Superior Court of Judicial.
And it don't take over 1 year where it practice, where it serve at this position without going through the parliamentary approval appointment committee.
Of course, based on record, he has never faced that committee, and it's the first time. So, he might have faced the committee as a magistrate, but again, there is another question: that has he ever been debarred to practice law in Sierra Leone? I only know that he was having a case. There was a matter against him. Whether he won and he was convicted, it's another case again for the members of parliament and the legal councils there for them to do a lot of research if they are going to put a sting on him tomorrow.
So what in this go get for mean? Because normally we can see the courts, they argue, say, especially when they can come out for defense certain issues, say, then they go by precedence. For say, we don't get any record of, as a judge, we don't actually serve in this position for as long as 1 year or more, or even 6 months without the parliament's not approval. You don't ever get, an example, a case study of such.
That's what we're expecting the likes of the Honorable Chairman and Madam Majuba. Unfortunately, tomorrow we will not see Honorable Daniel Kuma because he's sick from the APC. He has been one of their forthright legal minds. But we're expecting to hear more from the Honorable, let's say, Alpha Amaduba from the APC, or on the side of the government, the Honorable Solomon Singapore Solomons, the Deputy Speaker, who is also a lawyer. But apparently, I think this is an issue for jurists, then for lending voice to as to whether there is a precedent to effect, or whether there is a catch or caveat in the law that makes provision for such persons for act. But all boys to the General Legal Service Commission, did they do their work? Did they do due diligence around this recommendation or more around this appointment? I think that can be a very, very, very critical question before coming out whether Parliament can gatekeep if there are any procedural or constitutional lapses along the line. So it's quite interesting, and we look forward to see what will happen tomorrow if Adrian Fisher will be confirmed, or if not, or if he will be confirmed without any evils being cast on him.
All right, continue for the tweet in name na Melvin Tejan Mansaray, when a resident report on a parliament to talk about the issue of this particular approval where Justice Adrian Fisher go on a parliament for make them go approve him for make it go become the judge. Justice, let it get the full name as Justice Adrian Fisher. Well, like tomorrow then go do he go face the Well of Parliament, who side then go finally debate and then approve or turn the appointment down. But generally, we in this parliament, Melvin, I go for ask if we don't ever see a case where the parliament don't go for debate certain things then, and then turn down a particular I call them particular government appointee. But before we go to that one day, follow we talk about that particular issue day, we're very, very important and sensitive. I go really like for we relax small bit and take this break, and then when they come back just now for can talk about that particular one. They keep that in mind for we see whether Parliament will ever turn down now the well of Parliament after I don't pass up the appointment committee. Then since a problem there, but Parliament the other one they were not a part of the committee. They argue. Parliament don't ever turn on down when they come to that they look and talk about that. Let's take this break when they come back just now.
Yo, this is your boy Lyrical Leader. It's all about Africa Caribbean Festival going to Sierra Leone. Africa, Freetown, Sierra Leone. We are coming, bringing soca to Africa, soca to Sierra Leone. It's all about December 28th to January 2nd.
I just wanna drink and party all day.
This December, all routes lead to Freetown for the first ever Africa Caribbean Festival. On the 28th of December, our international guests will arrive at Lunga International Airport. Please look for the bright colored line. On December 29, we will take you on a tour around the city to touristic sites. Later, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., join us in our Ankara pool parties. On the 30th of December, from 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. Get that sparkling ocean clean white for our beach all-white party at Decode Bar. Join us in our pajama jam starting at 7 p.m. till midnight. 31st of December will be time for some sand and sunbathing in our Juve on the beach at Kalon Kapak from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Experience New Year's Eve in Freetown like never before in our New Year's Eve concert at Radisson Blu from 10 p.m. till dawn. On New Year's Day, Carnival will meet Lantern Parade from Radisson Blu all the way to Freetown Golf Club and back to Radisson Blu with a portrait of the legendary musician Ebenezer Calendar, and that's from 12 p.m. till 6 p.m. because at 7 p.m. on New Year's Day, all roads will lead to Radisson Blu for the Africa Ball, for mixing the Sierra Leone culture with Caribbean culture to get a powerful cocktail of all-night entertainment. January 2nd, 2023 will be time for our guests to leave. So, grab your tickets now for the Africa Caribbean Festival in Freetown from Eminence Africa Office 114 Pademba Road, Freetown, or call customer care on 030-200-555.
I turn up the fed till it's an over.
Alright, the program now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. Yes. You actually listen to Melvin Tejan Mansaray. We actually give an analysis into the Justice Adrian Fisher in issue as after 1 year we don't practice as High Court judge. You don't look at different sensitive issue them. Now only yesterday when at the 6th of December 2022 it finally appear in the House of Parliament for make they able for approve them for lay a work full one inside this particular position. What in this mean? How Parliament will get for look at this? So far, from what we don't analyze, we don't hear yet the parliamentarians there, especially from the opposition, ask questions with regards the big case the way don't they handle. But according to Melvin, they look tomorrow for see whether other member of Parliament will come up with this particular issue, or it could be like for say the opposition member them don't keep bullet now them gone way na a secret one way nobody know aware of, and then just wait for tomorrow. The program that we had on YouTube and on Facebook, my name na Sembe Pierre, the freedom fighter. Of course, we they go now back to Melvin. Melvin, I'll be just to ask you a question, or if the Parliament will ever reject any presidential appointee na the well the day where it goes for approval.
Quite rare,
especially in Parliament.
The current Parliament. Yes, there was a case of an appointee where the old dual citizenship, where the House be interviewed but not been bring up for recommendation. There's also another case of a person appointed but not showing up for interview. Other than that, it could be very, very unprecedented and rare to see the blocking or objection of a presidential nominee as high profile as that of a judge of the High Court. Mind you, when Justice Amanda faced the same committee, he was ultimately embarrassed at the chamber after the committee votes not unanimously, and the speaker began to put the question to a vote. Although he will win the votes, but nonetheless, we see during the debates wherein snide remarks were made against him. So whether the opposition get a solid ground for make any snide remarks against Fisher is one thing. But again, on what grounds they will be doing that is another thing. And definitely the questions that were unresolved, will they come up? If they will come up, there is no opportunity again for him to respond. Unfortunately, rather than the press follow up on them for subsequent reporting. So it's rare for let you see, presidential nominees being rejected. It's quite rare and will be very, very unprecedented for the Fifth Parliament. We're in our own parliament, but get some undercurrents of elements of rubber stamp.
Right, you stay the watch. We are on YouTube and on Facebook. Please, the line not open yet for you. Make you call. So please, not call. We will open the line anytime from now. For let me discuss issues them we get for do with Justice Adrian Fisher. On this particular appointment where a day also right now. Well, we still get Melvin, tomorrow na the D-Day. We already don't talk about him. Very, very important day. Now both the House of Parliament and the life of Justice Adrian Fisher. For them go approve him. And like you rightly say, I don't know whether he go that confident. Also, he go sit down right now. They wait for tomorrow, or they worry that he will get bashing. But bashing at Parliament without any strong action for stop somebody, I'm not sure saying any important thing that one day. Because they're not the Parliament, like the opposition don't even get the number for make them stop presidential appointments. And taking into consideration the last example where come up in the Parliament, who say then stand up for let them lay the paper on the PR system. All of that them bad things and they did at the ground already. So we not really expect to see a similar occurrence of that nature, right?
Well, yes, we never expect to see, let's say, a fight, but not only say we never expect to see remarks them or statement them from MP them, we go, let's say, castigate the judiciary or even castigate the person of Adrian Fisher. But like I say, the basis upon which for do that, because if not, I'm afraid Mr. Speaker therefore rules some members of Parliament them out of order if they begin to introduce extraneous material, as you can call them. So that's therefore be guided, not for what you different data way born out of nothing, but something substantial. And that again will be very difficult because, mind you, those rulings being taken in the courts, they cannot be inquired into by Parliament. Just like the decisions taken in Parliament cannot be inquired into by the courts. So that's where the line of separation of powers is drawn. And Fisher or any judge, as per the Constitution, they get rights they get immunity for whatever that they do in that capacity. So Fisher and a team or the legal government business, they will simply argue that that is not the business for which to make it in a Parliament in the one for venture into rulings, because whatever is done by a judge cannot be inquired into because they are protected.
So that could be the possible reason why they not draw some of the issues and they now the committee this yesterday.
Maybe that can be a safer consideration because it will lack substance legislatively.
Okay. Melvin, I think it should not each time for like always, let you relax small bit and let me listen to it in the people themselves want for ask, and then you go take note and come back for talk to we on this particular issue. All right, the program now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. We there also with Melvin Tejan Mansaray. He will join me back just now for let we talk about them. But in the meantime, it step out because we want for Yeri waiting you think about this particular issue where we get so on the floor. So we can open the phone line now. Let me Yeri waiting people them actually get for say with regards this. So Melvin, we will join you back just now. Let's just take and call from this particular line. Hello, caller. You name and where you call from?
Hello, Shemefe. I do. I call all the way from Weird.
Okay, caller. You want take part with regards this Justice Fisher in issue, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. You get 2 minutes.
No, I was just want to ask Mr. Melby make this question for I go for.
Okay.
If he still Fisher, the Parliament force the approval when change of government come. Any government get right for dismiss Fisher back because this guy not qualified, not competent. This is not the only question this will be want to ask for.
You say he not qualified and not competent?
For make him be judge na salo. Because just imagine if this guy be get right senses, you know not appoint him, you know not pass the bill in Parliament to make him be judge. Then after you don't do all the bad things in the country, don't destroy the country. Now they come for me they can approve you as a judge. So now I could try for ask if this guy any of change of government the Sierra Leone people raise against us. This guy they need for dismiss IP. They take an court back if that's going to be happy.
Okay, I go. Melvin, they take note of that. But I'll ask you one question.
Yeah.
For let Fisher work without approval, who that you go blame? You go blame Fisher or you go blame Parliament?
Well, because me know say the opposition they go fetch all kind for me to stop that, but you know say the country they really right now. Now dictator now get so you go fetch all kind for
we want for where they go give position, where go on for reject them. Then boku na the country.
No, but I believe say for believe on yourself. I call you a smarter man.
All right.
We believe on yourself. I believe say anything you God mark for you not go jump you.
Thank you very
much. Then you do
bad
thing we God there against. Okay.
All right, to go on the line again and take another call. Welcome to the show, please. Your name and where you call from.
Okay, this is a man's the talk. Some people you do well.
Yeah, they do fine. Are you safe?
Thank you, small. This is a very, interesting topic, and all this just the add to the crossroad side salon day and we judicial and democratic states. But one thing like you always say is that we constitution a big problem in as much the constitution are just book and
we constitution and pen.
Exactly. Now, why is it, I don't observe this, even the last fete happened at Parliament, now because of this, when the government in power appoints people, why the owners always stay on the opposition for deny them people and they may believe say the owners supposed to be on you where they carry you people go for rally around the other members of Parliament for prove to them say yes, this paper I bring is correct. This person when I bring for appointments, now good person, it go good for the country. But I notice say the onus is always on the opposition. You will be deny. So in other words, this thing what we can always refer to as the supreme executive power. Now dangerous thing and a thing we really need for look into a constitution. Because basically with whatever the presidency, nef court. So all of this is just a matter of formality. How you go tell me, say, me will not agree, now me for provide 2/3 votes. Now you will bring your case come, now you for prove. Just like when they say, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Right? So now it's like say, me, we say no, now me for prove. Right. Where there is no way we go before with the attitude. So one question for Melvin. Quick question, sorry about that. I don't know if I want to ask Melvin if he see any chance now this current parliament for things like the law like the one and they for be overturned in the near future.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
How are you, sir? Thank you for letting me in.
Thank you very much for
coming.
coming.
You see, we don't reach this stage in Asalo for left for beat around the bush. Okay. Sierra Leone is a morally bankrupt country. Sierra Leone is a geographical joke existing on the face of Mother Earth. Adrian Fisher may have a PhD or whatever in law. I don't care about that. He may have practiced as a magistrate under the Tejan Kaba regime coming to the last regime. And he had issues for which he was debarred. Adrian Fisher does not have the ethical currency to act as a lawyer in Sierra Leone. So how will they go to Parliament now for Medengo approval? And the other question is, all along, if they don't act as judge, they take decisions crucial to the security and stability of the country. Mm-hmm. We have a whole intellectual class in Sierra Leone. And that includes me talking. We shut our beaks up, and now we want to make it an issue. A country without ethical standards is not a country. It's a gang of people. It's high time we begin to face the truth rather than pointing at constitution, pointing at laws. Constitution and laws are words on paper. They become practically usable and applicable when there is ethics and moral standards to apply them. Okay. This is what we lack. And this is what the intellectual class has failed Sierra Leone with. All of us who went to school and university, because everybody, they look for in pocket and in corner. When things go wrong, then Ghana social media, they can write big English.
All right.
Can we all please shut up and begin to think how to make Sierra Leone a better place?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We got to another call. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Very well, very well, very well.
Yeah.
This is an issue this afternoon.
Don't talk. I think this guy self-talk, this Mr. Melvin. Fisher, first of all, I don't say, how can a judge that has not been
approved,
confirmed by Parliament, then is acting in the capacity of taking major decisions in issues that are very pertinent to all the development in Sierra Leone, especially when it comes to politics. All the political issues are in key. So now that they come, I will expect much from a man who get wealth of experience when a chair no ember, when one of the opposition leader in a parliament. For us, this man here, it questions them, but I don't see in a very soft questions they ask the man. So it's very sad. So this is all about when people in Lambastam say they don't long compromise. It's like they want to give Madabi a second chance. And I believe, say, the reason why the government bring them people on board for media appoint them, they get something behind their sleeve. At the end of the day, when the election will go in their favor, then one run for file a motion, and I didn't judge the cost then can go. And when I know say Fisher and man will not care. You don't care whether the country they at stake, whether we plunge into turmoil and turbulence, chaos and unrest being at the country, not care. So, say, look what will happen by APC then cases them. Now this BNT see they try for do some small because of the pressure we grassroots them don't take, and we understand the international pressure with the panel. So in fact, you not go law school na salon according to an explanation. Now listen, because if after you don't done na Sierra Leone, for go na law school, but in the take and say according to Commonwealth law, if you don't practice law, na country wanna get related laws, so that qualify them. And not qualify. Why do you think Justice Tejan Mansaray will sack this man? And just like the court show the post asked, if a change of government comes, there's no doubt in the most, then they pull him back from his position. You don't need for let even ask Mr. Melvin, because if SAP be reinstate him after we Justice wanna be Chief Justice by then, don't pull him. SSB guy reinstate him. So a change of government, they still pull him. So me and I go and say then the other thing, although related, I mean forget today for talk him. But that man who been go to radio, that Mohamed Tui, Remember, you go talk about say people for go online. How many people are savvy tech in Sierra Leone, especially to create an app for go check but you name but the deletion we don't do.
No, come on, then you go for even check up for your name not mean anything.
That's my you get for buy not to that same. Now that's how you get for buy for go online. So now more financial cost effective on the people. I don't have to forget for
waste them money because they not create any impact. Yeah. Now for just go see not waiting and already doing a rubbish. Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, the line still open for let we talk. The line still open. Call for let we talk now. The line still open. The line still open for you for call and add your voice inside the program. We they take few more calls. Now we take before ever we go back to Melvin for let we conclude the program for this net. Few more calls on this issue. Justice Adrian Fisher, the Parliament not approve them yet, but yet still don't begin for practice. Don't begin for do the work when they not approve them yet for, and at the same time don't they take critical decision them we get for do with the country in security. And whether Parliament will approve them or not, we're not able for no strong question or come yet for Adrian Fisher, now the House of Parliament Committee on Appointment. Well, we still wait because tomorrow a final they face the House of Parliament, generally the and then for later able for approve them. Well, waiting that we get for B. Waiting that the drama we will get for unfold tomorrow and another thing that the way we basically will get interest for no waiting will come out at the end of the day. So we go again on the line and take another call. Welcome to the show, please. Your name and the call from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I do fine. Please, me na this question I have. That Fisher guy the guy the Parliament not been done approve and force. They can this all the pass between APC and him. If anything be happening about in that country, who that then get for hold?
The court.
Who that then for hold?
The Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice.
Mm-hmm. Because I put him in charge.
Shall we corrupt?
Very.
Shall we really corrupt?
In your opinion, I blame the Parliament greatly for different things that already happen. I find out, say, the executive arm or the judicial arms of government, so they all they embarrass the Parliament and they molest embarrass. You know, I don't think the Parliament make dirty box. You see, for example, the executive arm, they go take projects. The only way they don't begin implementing project and they won't go to Parliament for approval. The same goes to the judiciary.
Why is every forget quick, boy? Is every forget quick? Parliament when you uncle in party name na power. Then just take parliamentarians in that parliament day. So who's you expect for say the opposition? When are the stronger? When are APC go able to vote against the rule the thing they would run in the regional parliament day? That makes so much money as the next one in the fed inside the parliament. Don't forget so soon. That thing parliamentary when they pull me say that them they say they never get the truth when they ask for let them reject board or let them promote people then. What look at power there is a power government. So now they want nothing to do. They don't care about the masses in the country. So you see, I don't have to try to understand. I do understand. The parliament is corrupt, but if the majority be then at the opposition, or the opposition they agree, they look to themselves. So God, so Robinson the pass that parliament enough for pass day. But I go blame the one as small. But the power government then get the problem in that country day. So arrest me case.
Thank you very much. We go on the line again. Hello, caller. Your name and inside the call from?
Hello. Hi, Sembe Pierre. Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. I hope say everybody did do well. This thing where Justin, I call her Justice, whatever you call it, Fisher, whatever I call it, September Pierre, when government change, and I know say by the grace of God, 2023 government the change. They need for strip him from imposition. They have to strip him enough for practice law anymore. If people them from go lost their life, they're like how people they lost their lives already. Fisher is the cause. The Speaker of the House is the cause. Most of them parliamentarians, they are so not the cause of them. You know, this is the most corrupt government I don't ever seen in my life. What if Fisher do so? It's just like what they say, somebody that go give a patient injection position where you know get the right credentials there for do that. You know go school for that. Or you go school, you know get a license it. How can you let teacher practice and pass rulings on oppositions, on certain people them, lock people out them up now the country? Now they come outside and for come grant this money or for tell we say, oh, now it get right for do what he get for do. This are not compensation from Mother Bio for compensate Fisher say, well done. I've been telling you say I go do it for you and I did it for you. But nevertheless, and not too late, Fisher must be stripped from his position. Fisher not for practice law anymore. Then if I put a red flag on him, say this man, he go kill people. This man, he go corrupt the whole nation. Because now him, Fisher, now in the do what he AFPC they go through so right now. Wait till today. Now they think about for go for the lower level convention. How can you do that? Madam, you not believe in anything straightforward, walking under the table. Everything about this guy is bribing. Everything about this guy is bribing. Sierra Leoneans, this one are the you so this one are the CISO. This is the number one reason, a big freaking reason, for me to kick this useless government out of power. This government is not good for us. We cannot continue to live in a corrupt state like this. This is undone. This is uncalled for. Fisher must be stripped out. Fisher not for practice law anymore in salon. Because it will kill people. It will kill family members them. Fisher will pass bad rulings where they already do already. So please, when government change Fisher needs to go. And others needs to go. The Speaker of the House needs to go. Some parliamentarians that needs to go because they're all useless and foolish.
Thank you very much. The line's still open for let you call and add a voice inside the program. The line's still open. The number then on the screen. Please call on WhatsApp. And please not forget, if you join me for the very first time and you not subscribe yet to my YouTube channel, please consider for do so. That goes again to the Facebook page. Please consider for follow the page and like and for we as well. We got 62,072. Please call on WhatsApp. 62,072 where they watch we don't subscribe and we want for each 100,000 by the end of this December as part of one of we gifts them. We as well they raise $5,000 this December. Yes, the channel in Bade now this December the 20th, me on the 24th, and me producer in you on the 21st, and then you get Bible in you on the 6th. So in the meantime, I want to use this opportunity for wish Elias Abba happy birthday in advance. The 21st of December will be birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you very much for the work you don't do so far for produce the Colres program. So we take 3 more calls. Then we go over to we guest inside the program. 3 more calls, please. 3 more calls. Alright, this person don't the call for long time. You realize say you call on normal call?
Yes, please. I understand.
Okay, please, next time now for call on WhatsApp. But go ahead, please, and make your point.
What they are trying to say, the APC parliamentarian then, let them take them to man, let them not beat them back. Yeah. Because I know say people in the talk say they go support SLPP for make they approve that mandate to my waiting. But me, I'm be border them. People already talk so now we know to them papa them they border them. The only thing let them patient, the way them let God pull them people there and wait. Tomorrow let them take the red and not beat them there.
Thank you very much. Alright, the line's still open. Call and add your voice inside the program. The reason why we not can decide for take normal call because normal call gets advantage over WhatsApp call. So sometimes the WhatsApp call gonna make him point and then the normal call can inside and they put hold to that particular one day and we don't want anybody in points for being interrupted. That is why we as well the call at every point in time for that you come through WhatsApp. Welcome to the show, please. Your name and inside the call for please.
Yes, sorry, the call from United Arab Emirates.
Right, please, you get the platform.
Well, this is my first tennis on this platform. I'm very attracted here and the follow my program. And they do well, they both you a blessing.
Thank you, God bless you too. Go ahead and make your point, sir.
Well, Justice Fisher you not qualify for this job. How possible would be all assurity things when they do not the country and the manner capability for the only thing they do. You know, you really point the guy it and the guy is going to do whatever about this in the but you government are this man, you say, let's going to come by getting power with that.
All right.
And the point is,
thank you very much. God bless you. 2 more calls. Welcome to the show, please. Your name and inside the call from?
Yeah, we are. This is Ibrahim. They call from where?
Go ahead, please, Ibrahim. You're there on the platform now. Ibrahim, go ahead.
There are a few questions where, what we want to ask.
Okay, please.
Panelist owner gets there and the entire parliamentary groups. We'll find out, say, the last time the opposition leader been write a press release concerning the ECSL for removal of, if I'm not mistaken, stand to be corrected, about 250,000 names from the list. ECSL give comment on that thing, and they will not know what in the way forward, what they do towards that. And the issues they are all they see the opposition leaders, then they take them matter for test the court. Like Adrian Fisher done the act, then say you not get approval from Parliament. Why opposition leaders then know that they need to challenge the issues then in a court, whether the court accept or not. Why they need to do them? Then they can go this PR system in a court. The court might easily give ruling say okay it is wrong. Then we say the court is doing well going forward. But there are other issues. Why ECSL? I want to ask the parliamentary reporter. They not get right for the opposition not get right for call the ECSL in a parliament and ask some questions and then do forensic audit on what in say. I want to ask them and they not get
ECSL in a parliament and get for doing through the speaker and the speaker and get for final game word yes or no.
Yeah, but let them try them. If the speaker not agree, let it in a record. Say they don't do them.
Okay, nice one.
Now, that's what we want.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. One last call inside the program. One last call. Oh, that would be the last lucky caller inside the program. When they talk about Adrian Fisher, outside it don't be High Court judge, it don't be justice, it don't try for do certain things that with regards, sensitive issues them without going through the House of Parliament for approval. Well, yesterday don't finally appear after 1 year where it at this position. And tomorrow, finally, it will come again in Parliament. Outside, they will finally approve them if they agree and they satisfy with what he done to get so far. Well, in the next 5 seconds, if we don't get any call, then we can go back to we guest and then we find ways and means how we can able for discuss the issue where people them don't already come up with for let we see what we can use for end the program this particular night. The program now we are on YouTube and on Facebook. My name na Sembe Pierre, the freedom fighter, and the guest where we get na Melvin Tejan Mansaray, we na resident parliamentary reporter na the House of Parliament. We don't join me inside the program for we talk about this particular sensitive issue. Now we can go again to Melvin for we talk about this particular issue. We can go back to Melvin. Okay, we get one last call. We don't answer where we actually been waiting for. Welcome to the show, please. Your name and where you call from?
Yes, I'm calling from New York.
All right.
It's not Kailundu, bro.
Sir?
It's my first time calling.
Okay, welcome.
First time calling. Okay, man, Andrew Fisher stop this plot. When the SLPP got to lose the election, he got to be the final verdict. I think that is it. That's all I got to say, my brother.
Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, that now the last call where we get inside the program today. Yes, the last call we get inside the program today. Now we can go back to we own guest for let it come in the wrap up the program for we. Yes, the guest We can go to now for the wrap up the program for we. That we see our best to the time for reach out to we guests again for they come inside and can wrap up the program for we. Okay, let's just see waiting. Maybe instead of the time for do a room call. The time for reach away again for come inside the program. Alright, please not call again. The line not open anymore for we talk about different things then. We don't come to the end of the program. We just wait for we guests to come inside and answer to your own questions them where you already do ask inside the program today. Okay, still it's time for each on to we guest. Yes. Okay. Okay, so welcome back, Melvin.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so reduce the volume of the set where you monitor from. You get me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let me go. You don't listen, you don't take note of the questions that we come inside, right?
Yeah, of course.
Alright, please. So let me get your own view on the questions and the way people ask.
Interestingly, on the last part of the question, yes, ECSL then been in our parliament today with regards to some of those
today,
issues.
Right?
And then yes, with regards to the update, perhaps we'll spend time for the updates on that. So yeah. With regards to why not challenging appointment of Fisher, like I say, the process not done it, and tomorrow and another day, and first we need to know how the committee members then vote, and if they vote unanimously, why? That means Fisher is qualified, irrespective of the barrage or looking of questions then with people that they ask as to why he not be confirmed but still a performance in church. With regards to why the opposition not challenge? Like I say, we don't know whether it will be the last resort of the opposition challenging. Opposition letter, again, I don't talk about that. Fisher should be stripped. Again, I just want to remind them to section 137 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. And that side note of that section, they say tenure of office of judges, etc. Section 137, subsection 4 talks about how a judge can be removed. And quickly, with permission, I will read them. Section 137, subsection 4 says, subject to the provisions of this section, a judge of the Superior Court of Judicature may be removed from office only for inability to perform the functions of his office, whether arising from infirmity of body or mind or for stated misconduct, and shall not be so removed save in accordance with the provisions of this section. So, Adrian Fisher, if confirmed tomorrow, can only be removed as a result of misconduct, infirmity of body or mind. When we say if the body not well or increase. So as it stands, his job is a secure job, and once confirmed tomorrow, will make anybody remove and make the president upon the advice of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, it will be contingent upon misconduct or infirmity of body or mind. So whether they are going to be moving on that subsequently or after now, nobody knows what for tell, but that's what the law says. Again, another critical question are the decisions taken so far by Adrian Fisher legal. I think that is up for the legal discourse and the debates for tomorrow, because I'm sure the main opposition APC will get some legal bomb then for them to go for release upon the 11th hour of tomorrow.
So in other words, the action of Parliament, they make the work of Adrian Fisher legal or illegal.
Subsequently, that will be another consequence of confirmation tomorrow, giving full legitimacy before any court or any other institution mandated by the Constitution.
So in other words,
confirmation.
If the Parliament tomorrow reject in approval, it means say all of in decision on them, all of in ruling them way on they take, automatically they become illegal.
Then it will be subjected to an interpretation from the Supreme Court, where of course that will be the last resort, whether those decisions are illegal based on the fact that he was not confirmed as a judge. But again, we will be very careful whether if there is no option in appointment of judges, because I know some judges are on contract, others are on some basis. So what would be that basis? Of course, the defenders or proponents or supporters of Fisher for able to tell Parliament in tomorrow's debate. Technically, yes. Also, yes. Somebody will say legislatively, if he's not confirmed, it means his decisions taken are going to be overturned probably in the Supreme Court. We will rule also similarly that, again, there is no ruling on this one case. We will rule on what I will call a presidential case, that because he was acting as a judge and not confirmed by the Parliament, his decisions are illegal. That is not in the purview of Parliament. It can only be in the purview of a superior court of judicature, and in this case, the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone. And with regards to the issue, with regards to opposition members of Parliament being compromised, again, I will underscore the notion expressed by the leader of the main opposition, Honorable Chairman Ramadan Majuba, we say believe in the politics of constructing bridges and not burning them. And as at the last debate, Honorable Kade Yimkela talk about him not being an obstructionist. So the APC must be very careful in not being seen as an obstructionist in tomorrow's confirmation. And with that obstruction, how consequential it will be. It will be very consequential because they're not going for reverse the fact in terms of legislative numbers, but also in terms of whether this judge is confirmed and he goes and sits as now High Court judge substantial. How will he be viewing members of the APC, particularly from the legislative perspective? All of these are the costs to count ahead of tomorrow's confirmation hearing. And judge can be removed. I think I don't answer that. Chances of overturning of bad laws, that is again in the hands of the courts. Fisher was debarred by Pakaba. I don't have the impact towards that end, but if he was debarred, then the question of his qualification will surely sound a loud and an alarming ringing bell, because the Constitution is very clear.
I can remember vividly, the last practice now Waterloo court before ever them being pulled from that position, and where he stopped for practice. Later he traveled to the United Kingdom, and then this government come back, it return back, and then don't begin for practice. Yeah.
Well, the fundamental idea is, was he debarred? And what's the process of debarring? The debarring process involves your name being withdrawn from the roll of courts. Was that done? Again, I can sympathize with the public view whether he was convicted. If he was convicted, I think it's up to the courts again to tell us whether he's eligible to practice as a judge.
Well, I think the thing now, the issue of the bar, myself not going for confirm, but I remember say at one point they be convicted.
And nothing of such kind question come up by the committee on appointment as at yesterday. And those committees are meant to ask those very, very, very uncomfortable questions. But
because it begins issue around corruption and so.
Was he convicted? If he was convicted, then as per law, he should not be practicing as a judge, as the law and the Constitution itself read it black and white. We are not lawyers, but as a parliamentary journalist, our duty is to read the laws, be they acts or be they enshrining the Constitution. And it's very, very clear as to when they can be removed. So, if he was debarred, when was he enrolled into the bar? Is that equal to 10 years as stipulated for the requirement? That should have been or ought to be the issues researched by the main opposition bench if they want for through any protocol of Adrian Fisher come tomorrow. So if anything there for discuss, I think we are in a process, in a democratization process, where the legislature is doing its work, the judiciary is doing its work, and the president is doing his work. But are they doing it in tandem with the spirit of the Constitution, in tandem with procedures, in tandem with independent advice, and so on and so forth? I think these are all the fundamental questions. And more importantly, so in tandem with the spirit of public trust. I think in the case of Adrian Fisher, that is the big watchword: public confidence and trust in what he will be doing if confirmed as a High Court judge.
Wow. So a lot of people really get interest on the issue of Adrian Fisher. And we wait tomorrow for see how this interest go end up. With regards the final thing where they come out from Parliament, they make or break. Where, of course, it's very difficult for them to see. Because we don't see at the committee already, they don't begin for praise up.
Indeed, that's quite interesting, the praise singing coming from the leader of C4C.
Yes.
And yeah, it's quite interesting. But again, you see how the Honorable Amadou Kanu emphasized the emphasis on subjected to the approval of Parliament. That can be a very politically, linked subject matter, meaning that you can be eligible, but that is subjected to the confirmation of Parliament. But Parliament itself will be very careful on what grounds they will be attempting to reject or confirm it. Because at the end of the day, if it turns out that he is eligible, it turns out that he has not been debarred, it turns out that he meets all the constitutional threshold, they will be only creating a bad blood between Adrian Fisher and the ABC. And nobody wants that to happen at this moment. So the opposition will do their homework very well. Of course, they get a competent leader in Honorable Chairman or Madam Majuba or Chairman Kupo. But of course, this helped me for consult legal experts on that matter, particularly reviewing the judgment of the Supreme Court in the matter of Mara versus GLC. That's quite unique from any position where they take to Mara questioning his eligibility or not.
All right, thank you very much for we don't take you time for. Tell me about this particular thing. Anything left where we want for no, but where maybe I not ask?
It's interesting that we pay attention to the judiciary at this crucial moment, but the fact that the PR notion is before them now, how they will be ruling, we not overemphasize, get the consequences of the election. And generally, what's happening in Parliament these days are last days. So you should expect the unexpected. But more so, the president, we've not seen that urge from his side in reaching out in terms of cross-party dialogue on issues of public or national interest. And so unless that is done in good faith, I'm afraid some of those processes, these ongoing processes, will get cracks along the way or even hiccups. And it's better to be proactive than to be reactive.
Thank you very much for you taking your time and joining me inside the program this night.
It's always a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. In name na Melvin Tejan Mansaray, na the resident reporter for Parliament. We don't take in time for address issues there, especially the issue we get for do with Justice Adrian Fisher. Well, I want to tell you now, thank you. We don't take your time for call. You don't take your time for like. You don't take your time for share. We get 414 way to watch on YouTube. We get 179 reactions. Please increase the like for we, please. You ain't not like yet. And on Facebook, we get, let me just watch quickly. We get 182 way to watch right now. And then we only get 179. Please increase the like button for we. We appreciate Una so much. All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much for your time where you don't take for joining me inside the program today. My name is Pierre, the Freedom Fighter. Until we meet again, I want to say happy birthday in advance to Elias Abba. God bless you. God bless we country Sierra Leone. And one more time, I'm out.
Oh yes, plenty organization don't come and go, but this one come for stay because in M, not the heartbeat of God, for help the poor and needy. It's the Sidra Women's Organization.
Sidra Women Organization. They come for help with the poor and Sidra Women Organization.
The Sidra Women's Organization will be launched officially on Saturday, the 7th of January 2023. This historic event go unfold inside McKinneyton, West na the SLTU Hall. The time na 10 o'clock na morning. As the main aim of this organization now for help the poor and needy, the Sidra Women's Organization would look for extend invitation to all Soriat organizations, especially other sister women's organization, for can witness this colorful ceremony. I say we McKinney fumble them. Let we not forget the date again. Na Saturday, January 7, 2023, 10 o'clock na morning, and the place na the Great SLTU Hall, McKinney Town. This organization is sponsored by a daughter of the swell based in the United States of America, Madam Sidratu Aminata Kamara. The Sidra Women's Organization, helping the poor and needy, is our passion. Is our passion.
They come for do their best to the poor, east, west, south, the best.